Hi, I'm Kevin Brooks. I wanted to revisit the famed Exorcist letter written by the Zodiac, and I wanted to give you my take on it and clarify it a little bit from what I had said before. First, I want to say to everybody, I realize that this case will not be solved until there's a positive on the prints or the DNA that we have sent. That being said, I believe this case is solved because the circumstantial evidence that I have sent and collected is just massive and very corroborative. And it has been looked at right now at this time, and we'll see what happens with it. I could be wrong, but I believe that Donald Lee Booyac was the Zodiac Killer. I also believe he was paranoid schizophrenic, manic depressive, and I believe had he been treated at the time correctly, had they had the treatment for the bipolar he suffered from, and he was also a psychopath. I don't think he can cure a psychopath, but had he been treated at the time, maybe things could have been different. I don't know. But I've talked to David Van Nuys about that. He sent me, actually I bought one of his books here, and it's a very good book if you want to look into learning about the mind of Zodiac. I found that Mike Kelleher and David Van Nuys did a very good job of portraying Zodiac. They sent me a tape also that I put into CDs. I wanted to tell you that if you want to learn a lot about Zodiac, there's a Soldier Factory. It's about four-doored. You can look at Metamorphosis of a Criminal. I've got a couple copies of that. Also, The Most Dangerous Game, Things That Influenced Him. I also wanted to talk about, as a researcher, you cannot make the person of interest fit the evidence, but the evidence has to fit the person. And I see so many times on these websites that people come up with bizarre, bizarre theories and such. And what I was looking for when I was looking for Zodiac was what we knew already, the evidence we had, and that's what my grandfather talked about. Now, I've said before, my grandfather was a New York City detective, and there is his badge right there. And we worked together, and he taught me what to look for in cases, and I have done that. This is my grandfather here. Right here is a big picture we used at his funeral. He was a patrolman. He was also a prison guard, and he was a first-grade detective. So I learned a lot about prisons from him. I learned that in prisons, things that people are looking at now on certain sites, that prisoners often talked in code or would write in code and that type of thing. A lot of people are wondering about that and looking into that at this time. But let me get to where I want to go is the Booyac family's been very trusting with me, and and given me a lot of information. I've shared information with certain websites for their eyes only, which appeared on certain Zodiac websites. I do want to show you this. This is our patent right here, our copyright that I did for the Booyacs first. We did that under their name for the writing, the pictures that were taken by the Booyacs, so we're going to get that taken care of pretty quick. And I'm not going to give you my number, but I'm going to show you the certificate of registration right there, and just to show you that we do copyright these things. We're not stupid, and those things were meant for people for research only. Let me get to the Exorcist letter right now. And first I want to show you what Zodiac wrote about the Exorcist to the Chronicle, and give you a little breakdown on it. There's the original writing right there, copy of it. And you notice that he writes in blue. And what my theory on that is that Donald Lee Booyac was infantry. And if you see the color there, that's the color blue. I think he was giving us a little clue to who he was. Again, there's a Sightseeing 6 emblem. There's a little, what they call a coat of arms for the infantry, for the, let's see, shows you the little symbol there from the, I think it was called the Mayus Agani 51st Armored Infantry Operations some time back. But you can see the blue. Donald or Zodiac liked to use blue in his letters. He always wrote in blue felt tip. And as you can see on these, I've showed you before how I deciphered this, is that it looks very similar to the Mikado writing. And as we know, Zodiac was very interested in theater, particularly the Mikado, and he quoted some of the Mikado in some of his letters. And I want to show you again. There's this letter right here. You can see he gave us a little little puzzle on the bottom of this. Note over here he says me 37. At the time of this letter, I think it was January, if I'm not mistaken, 1974, he would have been 37 years old. So a lot of times he was playing with us a lot about how many victims he actually had and that type of thing. And I believe he was telling you his age there, me 37. And he says in this letter, I saw and think The Exorcist was the best satirical comedy that I've ever seen. Sign yours truly. And then he goes on to say, he plunged himself into the billowy wave, and an echo arose from the suicide's grave, Titwillow, Titwillow, Titwillow. That could have been a talking about the end of himself as Zodiac, or what, I don't know. But he puts down here, my feeling about Zodiac was that he was in it for the attention, not necessarily killing the attention it got him. He was a loner. My suspect, Donald Booyak, he was a loner. He had nobody that I knew he was real close to, but acquaintances. And again, it says here at the bottom, if I do not see this note in your paper, I will do something nasty, which you know I'm capable of. Now, we all knew that the only thing we knew about this fellow that he was capable of doing was murdering. And we didn't know anything else about him, maybe writing poetry, you know, or whatever. But you can see he's writing with magic marker in here. So sometimes you'll see some of the O's are filled in, like in that do right there. You can see it in the O and the sum right there, because the magic marker was thicker and whatever. So he puts in there, as a dyslexic, what I saw, and I put this together and I saw it pretty quick, is that a lot of people thought this said Lee. I've saw people think it says knife. I've saw people say they think it says kill. I've saw people think it says Jack for Jack Terrence. But what I knew right away when I looked at it closely, and what it actually is, this is a T-O right here. The O is filled in, and it's written in this kind of Asian-looking writing. And what I deciphered it as being is he was just telling us, threatening us basically, if we did not put this letter in the newspaper, that he would do something that he was capable of. And we all knew that the only thing he was capable of doing is this, to kill. So that's the Kevin Brooks breakdown of that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm right on that. There's to kill. He went on, if you compare this letter to one that he wrote to the Billings Gazette, now this was written in January of 1974, and 5 months later he writes to the Billings Gazette, and he basically says the same thing that Zodiac said. He says, I've been reading and hearing about The Exorcist, and I have a very good question to ask. If the possession of evil spirits is really true, then why doesn't the state legislature enact legislation authorizing funds to hire a professional exorcist? Basically, he is saying that exorcism is bull. And here again, as Zodiac, he is saying exorcism is bull. Now, there's other letters. I have a lot of other letters that kind of correspond with what he had said as Zodiac and as Donald Booyak. Donald Booyak was a movie buff. He loved science fiction. I can tell you some other things I'm not going to tell you right now, but they fit very much into the case. Donald was a loner, and like I said, he had a unique speech pattern and a unique walk, and that's what I was looking for. So that's my take right there on the Exorcist letter. Thank you so much for watching.